Thomas Edison once said, "We are like tenant farmers chopping down the fence around our own house for fuel when we could be using nature's inexhaustible sources of energy, sun, wind, and tide." I'd put my money on the sun and solar energy. What a source of power. I hope we don't have to wait until coal and oil run out before we tackle that. Hi. Today I'd like to introduce you to the efficiencies of solar energy. Over the past few weeks I've been studying solar energy and how it is used as an alternative source of renewable energy. I'm willing to bet everybody in this class has used a calculator or seen their speed limit on a solar-powered sign at least once in their life. Today I'm going to discuss exactly what solar energy is, how it works, the history of solar energy, and finally how it is being used as an efficient source of energy in today's society. The first thing I'd like to talk to you about is how it works. Solar energy is simply using the sun's light radiation as a source of energy. There are a number of different ways to do this, but the most efficient way to do so is with the use of solar cells. And here's a picture of just a general solar cell. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it right now. In an article by Jessica Toothman from the Discovery Channel's How Stuff Works TV series, she states that solar cells use something called photovoltaics, or PV, to convert sunlight to electricity. PV cells convert light energy into electricity by using different light-sensitive metal-based elements like copper and silicon, known as semiconductors. They then produce alternating current, which is what you use when you plug something in your socket in your house. The sun's light provides more than enough energy for these cells to do their job, and in fact, on a sunny day, the sun can produce 1,000 watts of energy in 1 square meter of the Earth's surface. That means if we could capture all of that energy, we could definitely all be running on free electricity. The second thing I would like to tell you about is the history of solar energy. Solar energy is not something new. In fact, it's been around for centuries. The first recorded use of solar energy was in 7 BC when a magnifying glass was used to start a fire. For centuries, solar energy remained unchanged and used mirrors and magnifying glasses for cooking, heating, and lighting purposes. Mary Bellis of About.com stated that an 1839 French physicist named Edmond Barquelle was the first to experiment with PV cells mentioned earlier. This was a milestone for solar energy because it allowed sunlight to be converted into electricity. In the mid-1900s, fully functioning cells were created, but too expensive to be widely used. In the 1960s, however, NASA got a hold of the technology and used it for the first time ever on a solar-powered satellite called the Vanguard 1, which is right here. If you look really closely, these are the solar energies, or solar cells, that power the radio for the satellite. In the 1970s, solar energy was finally affordable for a much wider range of uses. Now that I've talked to you about how it works and the history of solar energy, I'd like to tell you a little bit about how it is being used today. Solar energy is being used everywhere and has many different applications. The most interesting, however, is the power plant in the Mojave Desert in California. Stephen Muffson of the Washington Post says that the plant uses mirrors to concentrate sunlight and focus it on a water-filled tower and boil the water to create steam. The steam powers a turbine which then produces electricity. This is what just one of the areas looks like. These are all mirrors directed right here, where there's it's like a thing of water that gets steaming. The steam goes powered through these pipes down into here into a turbine which turns and generates electricity. The same article states that the Obama administration will be funding a new Mojave solar energy project that will supply electricity to 140,000 California homes by 2012. Residential PV cell use is increasing, especially in California, with its year-round sunshine. Ann Wolkern of the New York Times says that California is the solar energy capital in the U.S. and even provides tax credits to solar houses and businesses. This is a house in Newport Beach. As you can see, even people in upscale areas are using this as a way to save money on the electricity bill. These innovations don't stop here. MIT's Alternative Energy article says that they have made paper-thin PV cells, and the University of Michigan is close behind with a cell that is about the size of a date on a penny. Looks like this. That little cell is able to power something about 1,000 times the size, so it's pretty incredible for a little piece of material like that. While these and more high-tech innovations are not yet marketable, they do show that solar energy is heading in a positive direction and will soon be a huge part of our everyday lives. Now that I have covered how it works, the history, and how it's being used today, I'd like to conclude that solar energy is an important alternative energy source and is quite effective in helping solve the energy crisis problems of today. I hope you now have a better understanding of this important source of energy, and maybe will one day use it for the benefit of yourself and the environment.
So, Joe, what did you think?
I thought it was really well structured. It was clearly broken into sections. He explained things really well. He didn't get overly complicated in his explanations. I like the way he related the topic to people with solar calculators and road signs. One thing was the French name pronunciation, but I don't think I could have done any better. Good use of photos explaining technology, and the Newport Beach photo as well. I like that because it relates to the local area.
I like the quote at the beginning. It's, we're talking about somebody who was alive 225 years ago who was already imagining the uses of solar power, so that's nice and creative there. You have a very clear statement of what your goal is, an excellent preview of what's going on. I think we could use a little bit more information in the background about the percentage of solar energy that's currently providing our energy needs, or the percentage that solar actually provides our current energy needs. I think that's something that would have been helpful to give it a little bit more context. But otherwise, I don't have a lot of criticisms. You defined terms very clearly. You did an excellent job citing material on each of the points. Every point that you went through, you gave the source citation for information that you're presenting, or multiple citations if there were multiple bits and pieces of information there. And I thought you did a very nice job on that. Maybe you rushed through the first point a little quickly. That's the one with the explanation about how it all works, and I think that's kind of what Joe's talking about when he says about the visual, maybe something else that explains the process a little bit more. We get the visualization of what the cell looks like, but not much explanation about how the cell turns that into energy. And you gave us a little explanation on that, but I think something that would help that process would be really useful. The other visualizations were really integrated into the speech very well. Also, I thought that you seemed to have had it all planned out where you wanted to show things, show them at the right time. It looked like you had practiced. The only thing on the delivery issues that is really problematic, a lot of reading. There's almost no audience contact. And on your next round of speeches, that's not something that's going to happen. Most of you will not have any notes in your hands. You might have one card that'll have a reference for you for details, but that's not going to be typical on most of the speeches. Most of them, in fact, if people choose to do impromptus, you won't have any notes at all. So that's one of the options that you have available to you. So that's the biggest issue. From the technical point of view, very good job on the visuals, very good job on citing the material, excellent organization. Thank you.